I've been accumulating some material recently. It isn't anything fully realised just yet, but it is the necessary components that I can assemble into something that's pretty good, in my opinion. But I look forward to hearing other people's when the time comes. And speaking of other people's opinions on what I do, I'm slowly sowing the seeds for a creative hangout in the Canterbury area again. Excuse me. If that spikes your interest and you're in the area, do get in touch, or don't, and dwell on what enlightening interactions there could have been. Then rate your disappointment on a scale of 1 to 10 so I can exploit that in some dithering kind of way. And speaking of dithering, I've been feeling very overwhelmed with information recently, which isn't the first time, but, well, I've been taking increasingly elaborate lengths to maintain equilibrium while any aspect of life that might offer a sense of joy or purpose slowly dissolves before my twitching, lifeless and over-caffeinated eyes. I have, on this recent occasion, found a precious moment to calmly reconsider how I plan my time and other basic organisational strategies. Has it worked? I'll find out. I suppose the one thought I'd like to add for now is that I think the very nature of my frantic and entangled creative process is one that aggressively rejects the very mechanisms that keeps me employed or optimally employable. So while evaluating finances over the coming year and routes of work progression, it's no huge surprise that I have a minor identity crisis as well as hyper-awareness of dyspraxia, or the bizarre irony I'm required to assist other people with organisation. You know what? Giving organisation guidance is fine. I've exhausted every available coping technique for what they're worth to pass on. But translating project briefs into something legible often feels like I have to patch up informational crimes against humanity, like I'm rewriting an appalling moment in history where the perpetrators of such text will never be brought to account. You get what I'm saying, I think. I don't know. I don't care. On a lighter note, I'm enjoying how this weekly entry is progressing. I remember when this whole concept was in its more beta stages. It felt first and foremost like a cathartic addition of structure, and it still is, though now with a description like introspective contortionism recently observed by someone, I have been noticing a more definite progression that I hope encapsulates the general vibe I've been leaning towards. One of my biggest aspirations when it comes to a creative outcome is to be persuasively challenging, evoking a soft sensory sadomasochism. A snobbish man in Tunbridge Wells once whispered, not so discreetly under his breath while I was manning a stall at an art fair, "It hurts my eyes." He is probably not my target audience, but nonetheless it represents something, and I can assure that man that if an assortment of lines on paper is enough to hurt your eyes, then I can tell you in not so cowardly hushed tones that your vapid, bland and bitter sensory existence saddens me far more than your disdain. Lastly, I've cut off 3 dreadlocks. Only 3, but it's a significant event for me, rather. It is a significant event for me. One that, on one hand, my hair represents a personal perseverance as a teenager who got a lot of shit from some of my chavvy mates for having my hair that way. We ran on a culture of continuously knocking each other down a peg, but even so, it's clear in reflection they were sincerely bothered that I didn't simply shave it off and stick on a baseball cap like the rest of them. So every put down compelled me more to just let them grow until they all gave up and admitted their own insecurities. This still dictates my attitude today, and while on the other hand, I think lopping these three off recently makes my head look a bit neater. I am also well aware, on the other hand, well aware the other context, that is, as to why other people have reservations with a white male having this sort of hair. There's a hell of a lot to unpack there, I think, another time, I hope, but make no mistake, even if I sometimes find myself prejudiced against people who look a bit like me, now is not the time to take a deep dive into cultural appropriation, or indeed the Trustafarians out there, who I am well aware of. I just hope I can earn respect another way, because to me this hair is still fundamentally one adolescent principle of defying peer pressure that I maintain had some real lasting substance, whereas some people, alas, are in it to diddle with underage psytrance ravers. Anyway, I digress. I have an early start in the morning. I cut some hair off and I'm halfway through a painting. Bye now.